All right, folks, welcome to the first official episode of the Frankly Francisco podcast. I am your host, Francisco. This has been a year in the making. Originally, we weren't supposed to be doing a podcast. At first, we were supposed to be doing a digital magazine with pretty much the same format that we were doing, that we're going to be doing now. But with everything that went on with COVID, it kind of threw a wrench into my plans because we wanted to travel and actually have these conversations in persons with people for the magazine. But again, with everything that went on with COVID, we changed our format, and I had to do a lot of research before we were able to get into this the first time. Everybody said, "Hey, this is pretty easy. You just get your equipment, turn the mic on, and start talking." But it wasn't true at all because it takes a lot of work and a lot of research to come up with 30 minutes of content, 30 minutes to an hour of content for every episode. Most podcasts do not last past 7 episodes because some people just don't have things to talk about. I am not one of those people. I am a front facing type of person. I love having conversations with people in person because to me, you can have a genuine conversation with somebody and it feels more personable when you're in front of them. So I will be having interviews coming up with people in person, but I will also be doing interviews through Skype, through Zoom, because some people are not comfortable right now with everything that's going on with COVID. So this show is going to be a pretty diverse show. We are going to have a plethora of people from different walks of life: entertainment, artists, authors, folks who are risers, up and comers, folks who just want to get out there and want to get some of the credit they deserve for the things that they're doing, whether it's to help other people, trying to be successful in their own right. Everybody's success is not going to be the same. There's different levels to this. And for me, my thought process doing this was is I love to talk. I love to talk to people. I talk to people for a living. So I figured why not convert that and make it into a podcast where you can hear from different folks that you would normally hear from on a daily basis. So the hard part about this is doing all the background stuff, handling social media, promoting yourself. There's a lot of work that has to go into that because people don't realize you have to promote yourself hard. So you have to have your social media pages like Facebook, IG, Twitter, Snap, every kind of social media you could think of, and you constantly have to keep plugging what you're trying to do for people or do for yourself. And the one thing that I found out is that the people who are going to hate on you the most are the people that look just like you. Believe it or not, everybody wants you to succeed to a point, but when you start doing better than them, that's when you see people's true colors come out because they want you to succeed, but they don't want you to go further than they have in their life. And that seems to be a trend with a lot of things going on. Me, I want to see everybody eat. I want to see everybody be successful because my goal is to be successful. And if I can make it, I want to bring other people along for that ride as well. There's no shame in opening doors for other people. There's no shame in people opening doors for you. It's been going on like that for the longest time. And I think sometimes we forget that certain doors will open for us and we just don't open those doors for other people. I look at it as a way of passing on something to somebody else so they can strive for greatness. They can strive to reach their goals. So with this show, you'll get a lot of that. You'll also get stories of me growing up as a teenager, as a kid. I'm a kid. Well, I'm a grown man now, but I am a man of two cities. So I represent where I grew up, which was New York City, in Manhattan, specifically on the east side. And then where I spent the next majority of my life, last 20 plus years in Cleveland, Ohio. So I represent two cities. I have stories for days on growing up, things that we did, things that we shouldn't have did, getting in trouble, staying out of trouble, crews that we used to hang out with, stories that are out there. So it should be fun. We are going to try to get an episode out to you every Friday. And the reason I say every Friday is because it's the weekend. Folks are, most people got weekends off. Even if you don't, you can throw on Spotify or, go to Apple Music and, download the podcast, listen to it. Every week we'll try to get better with the podcast. We'll try to make sure that we bring you quality content on a weekly basis. Also, I want to apologize in advance for a little bit of the heavy breathing. It takes a while to get used to talking constantly between breaths. So every episode, it'll get better, I promise. Um, the quality will get better, the audio. We're going to add intro music as well. This episode is not going to have any because we just couldn't find any at the moment, but we're working on that as well. We'll have intro music, we'll have bumper music. That way, it doesn't have to be all talking, and you guys don't get bored too easily with this. So, along with the podcast, we have an accompanying website called franklyfrancisco.com. On that website, we will have bios, pictures of our guests that we'll have on the show. We'll plug their products if they want something to plug. We're also going to have a blog on there as well, kind of old school with the blog. But we're going to have some contributors besides myself writing for that particular website. That website was originally supposed to be used for the digital magazine. Instead, we're going to use it to promote this show. Right now, in the on the website right now, we have actually a short video of the introduction of the podcast, one behind the scene video of the equipment. Also, we have there in the radio player there, I have my brother's band, Battle for West Park, promoting his music as well on the website at this moment. So you can head over there, take a listen to it. It's a pretty dope song for him to come out with. He's still, making music, and that's what he loves to do. So I figured I'd put his music on the website to help promote his stuff. And this is what I'll do for every incoming guest on the show, whether it be a musician, whether it be an artist, an author. We'll promote their books, we'll promote their music, we'll do a quick bio on them to let you know who they are and what they do. Along with the bios and pics, we will also have tabs that you can click on to connect to our social media websites, like our Facebook fan page, our Instagram page, my Twitter page. We'll keep updating those, adding more tabs to different sections of this different social media because everybody doesn't use the same platform. There's different platforms that everybody uses. But on our end, we'll try to hit all of them as best we can. Also, we're going to try to get the podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, Google. We'll try to hit all the avenues so it can be easier for you to find us on there and easier for you to listen to us. The new year is coming up, so we want to. This is one of my favorite times of year. For the simple fact is, it's like a reset button. With everything that's happened this past year, some of the stuff that I wanted to accomplish, I didn't get to, but this is one of the things that I wanted to accomplish before the year was out, and I'm actually getting to do what I wanted to do with this. But next year, it's a clean slate for us to get out there, get our hustle up, do the things that we couldn't do this year to make sure that we reach new goals and new levels that we have. My goal is to build this audience to the best that I can. I want to become a regular in somebody's playlist. I want them to say, hey, this is the guy I want to listen to next Friday. This is the guy I want to keep in mind when you're downloading your podcast, because we have a lot of podcast people. They listen to a lot of stuff. They don't even listen to the radio. Podcast is the new thing. And I know there's a million podcasts out there. I know you have choices, infinite choices out there, but I want to be one of those choices that you use to be able to say, hey, we're going to listen to this guy every week. He's going to bring good content, and we'll keep trying to push that forward for you as well. And the reason our podcast is going to be different from most folks is most folks want to deal with celebrities. They want to have celebrities on the show. To me, celebrities are overdone. You have infinite podcasts with infinite people talking to the Kardashians and, all these famous people. I don't want to do that with this. This is for people who are on the rise, people who want to make it to the top but are not at the top yet. So that's the difference in this podcast. I'm not headhunting. I'm not looking for celebrities. I'm looking for people who want to take that next step and maybe one day be a celebrity, and they can say, hey, this guy here gave me a chance on his show to talk, introduce myself, and that's the benefit of of this show, and that's what I bring to the table when it comes to this show. It's something a little different, not the same thing that everybody's doing. I look at this show like therapy for myself. I have what you call adult ADHD, so it's hard for me to concentrate a lot of the time because my mind is running 1,000 miles a minute. So it goes from idea to idea. I've never actually ever gotten to finish a project that I've started. Um, I've started writing books. I've gotten 4 or 5 chapters into these books and haven't been able to finish them because my mind goes to another subject. So I completely push that to aside. But I look at this podcast as therapy. I look at it as my Adderall. It's going to keep me focused at the task at hand. It's something that I can do on a daily basis because I'm going to be in front of a mic talking. So all that energy I can put into this show to bring the best possible product to you guys out there who are listening to me right now. So it's going to be a work in progress. We're going to grow in this role just like anything else. It takes a little bit of time to build a good product. So we'll keep working towards that every day that I'm on here talking to you guys. Eventually, we're going to have Q&As where you'll be able to call in. You'll be able to write and be able to ask me questions about the show, topics that you want me to talk about, things of that nature. Besides my social media platforms, I also have a Patreon page if anybody wants to go there and support the show as well. Um, there's going to be at some point perks. We're going to have merchandise that comes out for the podcast, clothing, cups, mugs with my logo on there. It's ever going to be changing. It's always going to be different. Um, Music on the show is going to be different. We'll have people on the show that they'll be able to read passages from whatever books they have. Artist is going to be able to go on there and sing something for people. That way they can hear their voice live. It's going to be great content, and that's pretty much what it's all about. Content. We have to continue to strive to you know bring you good stuff to listen to. And I think that's going to be one of the hardest parts about doing this podcast is continually finding subjects that people want to hear about and that people want to talk about, not just the stuff that I want to talk about and the stuff that, I want to tell you about. It has to be relevant to what's going on in the world and the stuff around us because you can't turn a blind eye to a lot of that stuff either. You have to be willing to, take a leap, take a step out, get out of your comfort zone, and talk about things that you wouldn't necessarily want to talk about on a daily basis. Subjects that would, bother most people, and most people don't want to say anything about it. So I am going to bring that type of value to this and talk about things that normally are taboo to some folks, things that some people find that they can't speak out loud. Some of you will like what I have to say, some of you won't, but that's part of the show. There's always going to be people out there that are going to disagree with the things that you have to say when you say it. It doesn't mean you stop talking. It doesn't mean you stop doing the things that you want to keep doing. You never want to hinder yourself. You never want to make things hard on yourself by, you know, because somebody doesn't like me, I'm just going to stop doing what I'm doing. You can't do that. We're not built that way. I'm not built that way. My family's not built that way. So before I let you folks go for today's episode, I want to let you guys know that this is going to be a shorter episode. We have our first interview lined up. That episode should be a bit longer than this one. This was just an intro, letting you folks know what I'm trying to do, who I am, what I bring to the table on a every episode basis. We will continue to strive, like I said earlier, to bring you good content. Uh, for me, this is something that I want to turn into something bigger. This is not just a hobby for me. This is something I see as a future. There's a lot of folks out there that make a career out of doing podcasts and they do very well. This is not just something I'm going to do for a couple episodes and throw to the side. This is a commitment I'm making to you folks, to the listeners, to the people who are going to support the show, support the website. This is something that I look forward to doing more often and every week. So thank you guys for listening to the show. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Whoever's going to tune in, whoever's going to download, let's just try to support the show, spread it so we can show the world this talent that's out there that's not being cultivated the way it needs to be cultivated, giving people a shot to get out there, get their voices heard. And I want to be a part of that. I think it'll be pretty successful if we continue to go in the right direction with the show. So everybody have a good night. Thank you for tuning in again, and we will see you next week.